Merry Christmas to you all. It is the 23rd of December 2024. So we are 2 days away from our big day, Christmas Day. So we're here in our Christmas jumper, Christmas tree behind. We're ready to hit an upper body session. And today's topic is why. What is your why? The biggest thing, in my opinion, to start any journey in life is understanding why you're going to embark on that journey. In the health and fitness industry, I've been involved in this industry now for over 25 years. Pretty much, I would say 95% of the time. When somebody joins a gym, when somebody embarks on a fat loss phase or a phase to try and change their body composition and improve their health, if they don't have a deep why, they fail. They never quite get to where they want to get to. And because you don't have a deep why inside of you, you have a very surface want. So the majority of people just want to feel healthy. They want to get a six-pack. They want to feel better in their clothes. They want to get ready for a holiday. They want to get ready for a wedding. And the holiday and the wedding can actually be quite a decent why, but it's short-lived. And then they go back to their normal ways of living, which then takes them back to where they were prior to starting the journey anyway. And then the superficial stuff, such as a six-pack, or just want to feel better in clothes, or just want to get a little bit healthier, they're just not strong enough whys. And so they start the journey. They might hire a personal trainer. They might come and work with us here at HB Health Hub. They might go somewhere else. They might go by themselves. They might join a gym. And as the journey gets going, their habits don't change. Their want to change the habits is probably there, but because the why is not strong enough, it's just easier to be who you've always been. And so today's topic is about that. So as we train upper body, I'll be talking to you a little bit more about that, give you a few examples of my why as an example and how that's changed over the years, because it has to keep changing because we evolve and life changes. And if we don't change alongside that, we will fall on our bottoms. It's almost that time of the year now. January the 1st is coming, 2025. Everybody wants to start a new journey, new year, new me. You know, we've all heard this before. So hopefully this is the perfect timing for you to watch this video. So guys, first exercise we're doing is rear delt single arm fly. There's many variations you can do with the rear delts. This is one of my favorite ones at this moment in time. I can connect really, really well with the rear delt. And one of the things I like to do, especially for the movements that I'm really trying to improve on and the muscles that I think need improving on my physique, is to start them at the beginning of the session, but also doing it single limb, either single arm or single leg, is really, really good as well, because you get more motor unit recruitment in those muscles that you're trying to improve. So if you're doing something with both legs or both arms, you're getting signals to both sides. So if you really want to improve a muscle, I'm a big fan of, especially as you get more advanced, of doing it single arm and get that motor unit recruitment to the muscle that you're trying to work. One arm and then the other arm. So in this case, the right rear delt first, then the second left rear delt second. Again, this is very advanced, and I will do a video more about why and how it's important to do this to improve your physique. But this comes way far down the line, especially if you've just started. You really don't have to worry about this whatsoever. But it's my training session. I'm telling you what I'm doing at the moment, so it gives you something to think about. But also, as we go along, you're going to be able to understand more why I do what I do and how you can potentially apply it to yourself as well. So I'm going to do another warm-up set on here. I've already done one. Stability is key, so I've rammed my arm into there and then into the leg here, so it keeps it nice and stable. And why I like this is really good, this exercise, because you see here the load is very heavy here, where I'm the strongest. But as I come along, the cable's nearer to my shoulder, meaning the moment arm's a lot smaller. Again, not to worry too much about the intricacies of that, but it gets lighter here. So it's heavier here where I'm strong, and it's lighter here where I'm weakest. So this is one of the reasons I really like this exercise. So warm-up sets, we'll probably do about 2, and then we'll go straight to our working set, and about another rep here. So I did 8 on the first set, up the weight, did 5 to 6 there, do the other side, and then straight to our working set. What's your why? Let me start first with myself. So I started training at a very young age. Now, I've always had a bit of an issue with my weight as a kid. So I ate a lot of food. I actually had a nickname in Portugal growing up because basically people would just see me eat lots on a regular basis. Now, luckily for me as a child, I was very active. I ran a lot. I played a lot of football. Football was my life for many, many years. I was addicted to football. I wanted to be a professional footballer. That was my goal as a child. I grew up around football. Portugal is, especially as a young boy back in those days, football was everything. And so I was very active. However, I was also very active at eating. And so I was a little bit overweight. I wouldn't say I was massive. But as I started getting older, into my 17, 18, 19 years old, when I moved to the UK, I wasn't happy with the way I looked. I wasn't comfortable with the way I looked. As a child as well, I remember I've got pictures on the beach, maybe from when I was 8, 9 years old. I was doing double bicep poses. I was looking at people that are muscly on TV. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger. We've got Rambo with Sylvester Stallone. We've got Jean-Claude Van Damme. And there's a particular movie called Double Impact, where on the cover of the movie, he's got a gun and he's doing this, and he's got this big arm. And I told my mum, I think I was probably around 9, 10 years old, one day I'm gonna have a muscle like that, and she just laughed it off. And deep inside of my head, clear at that point, I already had an issue with the way I looked, which is, I don't know why, but just seemed to me, that's the way to go. I really want to have that kind of muscle. I didn't really understand the reasons. As I got on and I came to become a bit more of an adult and girls became a thing, I didn't like the way I looked. I remember many, many times sitting on the settee, covering myself with a pillow on my belly because I didn't want anybody to look at my belly. I wouldn't wear any clothes that showed my belly. I would hate wearing boxer shorts that were tight and I felt like my belly was hanging over it. And other people around me might have thought that was a bit silly, but that's how I felt. And so I was really unhappy with the way I looked. And so when I got the opportunity to actually join a gym to be able to change my body, it came from a deep why. It came from many, many years of wanting to look a certain way, but also there was a lot of negative in my head as to how I looked, how I felt. And that was my big why then. I just wanted to change the way I felt about myself here, in my head, mentally. And so for that to happen, my body had to change. And that was a very, very strong why for me. And that's what got me into the gym. That's what got me to change the way I approached life in terms of my way of being. Now, I wasn't thinking about health in any way, shape, or form. I didn't know how to go about changing my physique. All I knew was I needed to start. And that was my first why I started on this journey of going to the gym and changing my body composition. Anyway, let's go into our first working set on the rear delts. Happy with that. Last time I did this, I got 5. That was 6. Yes, the nickname was Lateiro. And that's because I ate a lot. And so all my friends would just say, "Helder, stop eating. Every time I see you got food in your hands, you got bread, you got this, you got that." So that was my upbringing in Portugal. So I forgot to tell you what the nickname was just prior to this. So yeah, so that was my first why. And I just needed to feel better about myself. And I said at the beginning of this video, just wanting to feel better about yourself, I don't think is a strong why to keep the consistency going for a long, long time. But it wasn't just that I wanted to feel better. I felt bad for many, many years. And I think that feeling of being uncomfortable in my clothes, being uncomfortable sitting down, to this date, I go away on holiday. And if I'm not lying on the sunbed, if I'm walking from the sunbed to the toilet, if I'm going for breakfast, if I'm going for lunch from the sunbed, I will put my t-shirt on. And that's from years of not feeling comfortable sitting down without a top. And even now that I look the way I do, I still do that. It's just ingrained in me. And so that, I guess you can call it pain, but it's not pain. It's just I felt awful about myself. And so that was strong enough why to get me going, to get me started. But as then I started to change my body composition, I started to change the way I looked. I started to enjoy the way I looked. The confidence level started to improve. My energy level started to improve. My personality changed. But then we all know what next, right? In every aspect of our lives, typically people say every 90 days, if we keep doing the same thing, our brain starts to switch off and we looking for the next thing, which is, I can see that happening a lot. But this is way past the 90 days. I'm saying maybe 5, 6 years of training, consistently going, enjoying, doing different things to try and improve football. We're still going, boxing, gym, running. I mean, I was doing everything you can think of just to try and get the shape off without any knowledge whatsoever. Maybe reading some magazines, looking at the guys at the gym and just doing what I've seen other people doing and just copied it. And just, I got results because I was doing stuff consistently. But then it got to a point where bodybuilding became the thing. That became my why next. And I'll tell you the story about bodybuilding on another video, how I got into that. But then bodybuilding was the next why. I wanted to become the next British champion. I wanted to become the next lightweight natural British champion. And so that was it. Then I focused from 2005 till 2011. That was all I cared about. And that was my why. That was a deep why, very deep why. So every session in the gym, everything that went in my mouth in terms of food, every walk, everything was towards becoming the British champion. And guess what? I never became the British champion. I got close. I got third in Britain. So I became top 3 in my weight class. But I never got to where I wanted to get to. And the goal was to get there by 30. Didn't happen. But you know what they say? Aim for the stars. So I aimed for the stars. I didn't quite reach there, but I went high enough. A lot came into place to why I didn't achieve that. One of those was lack of knowledge. If I had the knowledge then that I have now, potentially, maybe. But I don't regret anything. It was all a learning curve for me. But that was my next why. Then after bodybuilding, what would be after that, Helder? Like, you're done competing, so what now? Moving on to machine shoulder press. This is basically working more the side laterals. A lot of people look at this exercise thinking, oh, that must be top chest, front delts. And I find that works really well on a machine like this when you have more of a neutral grip in front of you, in the scapular plane, we call it. Even leaning forward a bit with your bum and leaning back, sorry. This gets a bit more upper pec and front delt. When you go over here, the side delt actually do a lot of work there. So this exercise that you see me doing here is mainly for the focus on the side delt. This muscle here, for those of you who don't know what side delt is. Again, priority for me in this session today is rear delt, side delt, and then next one's going to be a upper pec exercise, and that's going to be the 3 main things that I'm focusing on today. So I've done one warm-up set on this already. I'm going to do another one next, and then we'll go for our main working set. Going back to the why. So bodybuilding was my next why. When bodybuilding ended in 2011, I had a period of about 1.5 to 2 years where I met my wife, and life was a bit of a whirlwind then. You know, you're in love, you met somebody for that you want to really make a change with. And I had a bit of I never stopped training because I was so ingrained into the gym by that point, and I felt so good about myself that habit is now ingrained. It's who I am. It's never going to change. But the nutrition side of things probably took a bit of a back seat. I'm trying to get someone for a bit, and really counting calories at that point probably wasn't conducive to my goals. And so I had to have a bit of rethink about what I wanted to do. Do I approach this relationship with this, mentality of bodybuilding, which is what I had for many years, of tracking every single thing, and at that point, guys, tracking calories wasn't my fitness pal. It wasn't easy as it is today. It was all on paper, eating the same things on a regular basis. It was just so much easier to be able to do that. And I will be talking about the bodybuilding side of things on another video. But it wasn't conducive towards meeting someone new and going out and exploring and being in love. And so for a period of time, the nutrition took a bit of a backseat. I think that my habits were so ingrained already anyway that it didn't have a huge impact regardless. I already was so ingrained in eating a certain way and training. And so that was already there. And so I'm way past, at that stage, I'm way past the point that I'm never going to train again. I will always train because it's just who I am. But once I got to know Selena and I got a bit more back into my way of living in terms of health and well-being, because then it becomes, right, now it's not about bodybuilding. Now it's not about being uncomfortable. Now it's about health. It's about changing because now I want to live a longer life. I'm going to start a family. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have children. I need to make sure that I am going to be here for as long as possible. I want to be the best husband. I've also started building my business, my coaching business. I wanted to be a role model for people. I wanted people to look at me and think, this guy lives and breathes what he preaches. And so there was so many whys there, but the biggest thing was my health. I really wanted to be on top of my health. I want to be here for my daughter. I want to be here for my wife for many years to come. And so everything that I do now, the training, the nutrition, the sleep, the hydration, I'm probably more anal about it more now than I have ever been. And simply because the why is much deeper than it's ever been. It's not so superficial anymore. It's not so based on looks. It's based on other people. And now, literally, I'm lucky because I've ingrained those habits in me of the training, of the nutrition from before. But the sleep, for example, is something I never really thought about. And now it's probably my number one priority. And when I'm well slept and I'm full of energy, everything else is just so much easier. And when I'm not, if life gets in the way and the sleep is not there, trust me, it becomes so much harder to train, it becomes so much harder to eat healthy, it becomes so much harder to be a good coach, to be a good husband, to be a good father. And so the why is that now. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last for, but at the moment, that is the why. So your why should keep shifting based on life circumstances. And if you don't have a deep enough why in whatever area of your life, it doesn't matter. You'll never succeed in terms of that area. So you need to have a strong why if in 2025, if now is your time to change your health, to change your physique, to change your way of living for the long term. You need to have a deep understanding of your why. Without that, you will struggle.